Hello and welcome back to the Forensic Podcast episode 7. As you guys already can see the agenda of the discussion for this episode. So for the very same, we have with us a man who is professionally active in this decade in this profession for the last 12 years. Who is not only just an expert but also an advocate, a court commissioned forensic expert, an entrepreneur, and most importantly, the founder of Clue for Evidence organization. So please welcome Mr. Faninder BN sir. Sir, welcome to our show and thank you for being so kind and accepting our invitation and gracing our show, sir.
Thank you, Aman. Thanks for the invitation. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, sir. So before we get into the questions and answers regarding this bill, I would like to request you to please give a brief us about what this bill is actually about and what are its important aspects.
Okay. First of all, I had to congratulate our Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, for this very, very, very important bill, which was expecting since many years, but which is passed in the recent years. Together with the Gujarat Forensic Science University now transforming to National Forensic Science University, we should also acknowledge the Rashtra Shakti University bill. These two important bills will be a landmark decision in the history of forensics in India, at least. Okay, while I had to brief the vision of our Prime Minister, not that I am supporting any political parties, but the vision which the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister of then, Gujarat Chief Minister, who was Prime Minister Modi ji, the Chief Minister of Gujarat, who was then Mr. Modi ji, is now who is the Prime Minister. That vision he had, and that vision which he is bringing on, being the president, is something which has to be understood, acknowledged, and respected. Before he became the Chief Minister, there were around 13 universities in Gujarat. During the time of Sri Narendra Modi ji as the Chief Minister in Gujarat, there were 42 universities which was given a go ahead. During the time of Narendra Modi ji as Chief Minister of Gujarat. And indeed, you take up any such course, and that particular course has now been made as a separate university. Disaster management ke liye university, petroleum research ke liye university, forensic science university. So like this, every single courses, what we usually heard before this universities came into picture, such course were actually granted the status of the universities so that this university can focus on complete upgradation or research activities related to the respective subjects. So out of this, one such university is our Gujarat Forensic Science University. See, when this was initiated, nobody knew in down 10-12 years that this university is going to be the National Forensic Science University and going to be the pioneer or the authority in the field of forensic sciences. Nobody did even had an idea about this. But as a matter of fact, today, this university, which is now the National Forensic Science University, is going to be the authority who would control, who would create, who would initiate any kind of activities related to the forensics, at least in India, at a national and international level. So while there are many such universities offering forensic science courses, how is that this university going to be so different is what we are going to be discussing today in this discussion. So first of all, let me discuss what is such importance of any forensic science university. I mean, what was it a need for any university to be called as a forensic university? Well, there are many universities which offers forensic courses. Why did we need a forensic science university? When that is a question. See, first of all, when the university itself is made to be offering something to do with forensics, so there is no deviation in any of the activities of the university. So ultimately, the university is started and university is maintained. University is operating and university will operate only for the purpose of forensics related subjects only. So there is nothing like, you are going to add some more subject in this, and under the name of forensic university, you run the course, which all other universities now coming to this bucket actually. All the universities offers various courses, among which one could be the courses in forensic sciences or criminology. But any forensic science university is so exclusive to offer any forensic courses. Second thing, to fulfill the vacancies of forensics across India or across the state which it operates, that is going to be the responsibility of a forensic university, be it a state university or a central university as applicable. Okay, and to focus on quality in education. Suppose let's have a question. While most of the students today have a common feedback that their respective universities doesn't have a good infrastructure for the forensic syllabuses to be covered. So while we are discussing about this, the responsibility of forensic university will be such that you would offer the syllabus which you are capable of delivering it. The exclusive forensic university cannot come and say that we did not have a infrastructure to complete this experiment or to offer this particular subject. That is not something which you are supposed to be expecting from this kind of exclusive forensic university or the operation as a forensic university. That is something which people have to expect from a full-time forensic university. Next, it also has a zimedari, the responsibility to give exposure to investigations and litigations. Otherwise, the forensic experts would no more be forensic experts. They will be lab technicians. You sit in the lab, keep testing the particular sample, submitting a report. That will be the role of a lab technician. So what makes you expert is when you understand the investigation aspects, when you know the litigation aspects. So how would you present your evidence? So how do you make your evidence strong? That is something to do with the investigation and litigation aspects. The forensic expert who does not know this aspect is not going to be typically to be called as a forensic expert. There is a big difference between a lab technician and an expert in any field for that matter. So the responsibility of any forensic university also does includes examination and testing facilities of any kind of the syllabus what they are offering. Okay, they should be having the complete setup of delivering the requirements regarding the examination and testing facilities. In addition to this, there is a big list of associated responsibilities. Okay, so associated responsibilities does includes, and probably I'm going to add in my presentation as to what would the GFSU, now going to be National Forensic Science University, should be covering or has the capacity to cover. We'll just discuss about this, but this is in general as a forensic university. Now we'll touch upon the Gujarat Forensic Science University. When Gujarat Forensic Science University was enacted, that was a state university, and as per the website information or as per the government gazette notification, the information how did the Gujarat Forensic Science University came into existence is already there in our records. So basically, the main objective of university was to make criminal justice delivered, criminal justice delivery system for techno-savvy, and it would help overcome the actual shortage of the skilled manpower engaged in this field. However, it's not new that everybody knows there is a acute shortage of the staffs, acute shortage of skilled manpower in this field, and one of such purpose and intention objective of Gujarat Forensic Science University was to fulfill this particular shortage of the forensic manpower. So it also became operational since February 2009. And it was also recognized by UGC, and as per the statutory provisions, NAG accreditation, University Grants Commission, Kajore Commission, everything was given to Gujarat Forensic Science University, which has been functioning for over 12 years by now, as a Gujarat State Forensic Science University. Now, The Gujarat Forensic Science University's vision was to fulfill the acute shortage which we just discussed, and to make the world better, say, and safer place to live. This is in general, because what the forensic people believe is that forensic service, it is not a profession, it's a service. Okay, so by offering the services to the people who are actually victimized, people who are actually in need of the expertise like this, we can actually create a better and safe place to live. That is with a public responsibility. Okay, that is a service to the public. So also the GFSU's vision was to carry out research in the area of forensic science, criminal investigation, security, behavioral sciences, and criminology, which are all acquainted with the investigation and litigation aspects of any any law enforcement aspects in any country. Okay, this was the university's vision. Mission was, how do you achieve this vision is by the mission, is education through investigation. So probably GFSU is one of such university which offers a hands-on experience to students, because they have the students get to do an internship under DFS. Okay, so all these provisions are created by GFSU, and to impart high quality education of international standards, which they have done, which they have been demonstrating so far. Okay, and to carry out research in the area of forensic science, crime investigation, security, behavioral science, and criminology. So the vision and mission, okay, are hence achieved by the Gujarat Forensic Science University, and now the responsibility is upgraded. So far, we are only discussing about Gujarat Forensic Science University as a state university. It was limited to Gujarat only. Okay, we need to check as to how far did GFSU was successful in fulfilling their mission and vision. How many such vacancies did they fill in Gujarat state itself? How many such students from their side got recruited got placed in such projects? Promotion for such university which had to do something to do with the forensic science only. And when you ask me the question, we also had NICFS. Okay, and what was the need for National Forensic Science University, and why couldn't the NICFS could have revamped and to make it to be called as a National Forensic Science University? And the operational challenges are different, and NICFS is also a university which was enacted by the state provision, by the statutory provisions. And unfortunately, NICFS probably lacked effective leadership by the one who is who is coming from the criminology and forensic science background. And very often we have seen people who did manage NICFS aspects were all they were from retired background, or it wasn't so very structured, is what people have also been commenting about it. So when it comes to National Forensic Science University, the objectives now is not just on the national level. It is now completely at international level. This National Forensic Science University is more or less like a Indian Institute of Management for MBA courses, IASC for science courses, okay, NIFT, National Institute of Technology for fashion designing courses, okay, National Law University for law courses. So like this, this is going to be National Forensic Science University of that standard, okay, which people would think, this, if I had to do forensic science, I had to do from this university only. This is that institute which is proposed to be operating. Now look at the objectives and functions of the university. The objectives includes promoting academic learning in the field of forensic science in conjunction with applied behavioral science studies, law, and other allied area to strengthen the criminal justice institutions in India. Very similar to what the earlier objective was. Okay, there is not much difference with the objectives. GFSU being a state university and NFSU being a national university.
Yeah.
Fostering research and applied applications in forensic science, applied behavioral science studies, and law. As a forensic science university with the allied subjects, okay, research
Yeah.
has to be there, and for any university with respect to given subjects, the research and implementation of the research work is a responsibility by default.
Exactly.
Coordinating with the central and state governments to improve investigations, crime detection, prevention
Yeah.
through research. This is going to be one of the important aspects.
Important aspect. Yeah.
What we're discussing right now is the coordinating the central and state governments. So far, Gujarat University being a state university, this did not have the power to interact with the central and get involved with different state governments. It was not having the power. Now,
Yes, sir.
because it is now going to be called as a National Forensic Science University, the power is given for this university to coordinate with central and state governments to improve investigations. So,
Yes, sir.
this is going to be one advantage. Okay, it's a feather. It's an added feather for the university, which doesn't restrict only to focus on the state operations, but it can go up to the national level operations regarding the state and central level forensic laboratories.
Yeah.
Next, assisting the central government in creating and maintaining national forensic database for criminal investigation, including DNA and fingerprints. You should also know that there is a DNA bill being discussed. Okay?
Yes,
DNA
sir.
bill, should we maintain a database? Should it be protected, not protected? Discussions are going on. Okay, we should also know about NatGrid as a project. NatGrid is again having the common platform for all the national level investigation agencies and to create a common platform for them to access a criminal database. Like this university can be of much use of such kind of projects to be implemented. Because this university will give the academic knowledge also. The university can give academic support, research support, as well as the implementation support for various national level projects of such national database or implementing the criminal database, all these things.
Yes, sir.
Next, functions of university does includes providing training and research of forensic science, applied behavioral science, law and criminology, establishing and maintaining colleges, schools and research laboratories, prescribing courses, holding exams and granting degrees and other distinctions. We discussed other allied responsibilities. This is what the other allied responsibilities. Most of the students now think that they don't, I mean, they have to see a common syllabus across different universities for the field of forensic sciences to bring science practice to a standard level. Everybody has to study the same syllabus first of all. Otherwise, if you study 10 years old syllabus, if I study the updated syllabus today, how can me and you be the? That is the question today before the students. So like this, this university is now going to prescribe the courses. Okay, it is like course deciding body. This university can also appoint a particular committee to prescribe the courses and to regulate the different courses across India offered by different universities. Okay, this can also be that authority going in forward. Okay. Now, the National Forensic Science University now comes under directly under the control of Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay. Otherwise, if it was a state, okay, it used to come under the governor of the respective state and the particular home department there. Since now it is the central government body or the central university, this will come directly under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Next, central government controls the activities, and just like any other central universities or central boards, okay, so the center will have a power to control and regulate activities of this university. All funding, funds or whatever the resources to be given will be at the decision of the central government because it's a central university going forward. And the accounts of this university will be audited by CAG, that is a Comptroller and Auditor General. Okay, that is a authority who actually audits the central government accounts. So these expenses of this university should be presented before the parliament. And the the CAG officials, okay, are
Yeah.
going to be presenting this particular,
Okay.
the expense bills, audited bills to the House,
Yeah.
and the MPs and ministers can raise objections on this kind of spending. Okay, so now it's going to be accounted by the highest auditing authority in India, and this
Okay.
shall be passed before the houses. Okay, I'm talking
Okay.
about both the houses.
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to be the a responsibility of the National Forensic Science University. Next, what does the university has to do? What are the powers the university has got right now? It should set up National Forensic Science University campus across India. Okay, the headquarters might be situated in Gandhinagar, which is the present GFSU. However,
Yeah.
this has got the complete lenience to set up different national level, National Forensic Science University campuses across India, just like IIM Bangalore, IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Kolkata. Okay, like that, they can, NFSU Bangalore, NFSU Ahmedabad, even NFSU Delhi, NFSU, Kolkata, whatever, as per the description of the
Obvious headquarters will be at Gandhinagar, right?
headquarters will be in Gandhinagar,
Yeah.
or as per the discretion of the central government. Okay, right? Since GFSU is now promoted as an NFSU, so more likely GFSU is going to be the headquarters. Okay, or the center has got the powers to fix the headquarters wherever they feel it is fit.
Yeah.
Okay, the powers are given to the central government. Now, as a central university, national level university, the responsibilities includes international linkage. Matlab, this university will represent India for various MOUs between different law enforcement agencies, different academicians, different institutions across the world, okay, for the purpose of research and development of the forensic related topics. So this is going to be one such entity to discuss anything about the forensic sciences going forward. Next will be the affiliation, international affiliation to forensic bodies. This university might become a de facto member of various bodies across the world.
Yeah.
Okay, there are different boards for different forensic practices. Okay, there's different boards for private investigators. There's different board for fraud examiners. There's different for fire and air zone examiners, for ballistic experts, document experts. So this university will become a de facto member of all such international boards. So this university can be a member to receive the updates about the institute, about the particular domains activities across the world. Okay, that's going to be the university's role. And in this, what we expect and what is not clear, because in the bill or in the act, what is now which we are seeing, doesn't give you everything as a solution. They give you a provision how to bring in a solution. So like that, there are the powers to different authorities in the act and the bill who can make decisions, who can form a committee, for what purpose a committee can be formed, under whom they will be governed with. So all those things they have given. By such committees, what we can expect is what we will discuss now. First of all, we can expect a national forensic standards. This standard, if it is established by such university, every such forensic domain gets a standard. Standard for education, standard for qualification, standard for operating. So if you want to be called as a ballistic expert, for example, what you should have minimum knowledge, what should be your minimum qualification. Just because you study one paper in MSc Forensic Science, can you be called as a ballistic expert? Against a person who studies physics for 2 years, who is a better expert right now? When you ask me who is a better expert, out of these two, nobody is a better expert. The physics person who spent 2 years doing MSc should be trained in the forensic aspects of the ballistics. When I say forensic aspects, it is not just about reporting. It is also about investigations, and I told you about the investigations in the beginning. So that is not known to this person. So he should be trained in that. And for a forensic student, whatever the time he spent on the ballistics part of it, that is not adequate. Okay, he should be called as an expert, not someone who just studied a paper. Okay, so it makes no difference. So for this reason, national forensic standards can be brought in by this university. That is something which, as forensic professionals or forensic students, we can expect from such kind of university. Next,
Yes,
set
sir.
up the associations of directors of FSLs. Okay, so this is a discussion again. So this is if they do it, okay, that will be nothing like it. Okay, so right now there is no common board, common platform where all the directors of forensic science laboratories, okay, do meet up. Whereas there is a all India, there are different meetings for different authorities. Okay, all our police DGIGs will meet up once in a year. All the fingerprint experts will meet up once in a year. So like this, so the respective authorities will have a frequent meetings in a particular calendar year. However, for forensics, we don't have anything like that. Unless otherwise there is a national forensics organized by the Ministry of Home Affairs. So nobody, there is no other platform to discuss. Okay, but if in case there is no one year, if 1 year the meeting doesn't happen, nobody meets up. Okay, but such associations of directors of forensic science laboratories can help them to keep discussing, okay, about the upgradations, about the challenges in different fields of forensics. It also helped them to pass on the information of one state to another state. Especially when you take the case of Gauri Lankesh and Dabholkar's murder case. Okay, it was out of choice. It was by chance that the details or the findings of the ballistic report was shared between Karnataka and Maharashtra. So the investigators understood both the weapons are the same. So if not this kind of platform, how about investigating a case in Karnataka while the another case reported in Jammu Kashmir? So there is no common platform. So this kind of association between the directors, okay, of FSLs can create a platform for various intellectual discussions in turn. It would impact on the society. People will get more confidence on the legal enforcement and law enforcement machineries. Next, converting NICFS as a campus of National Forensic Science University. There is a high possibility of the NICFS being converted as one of the campus of National Forensic Science University because while this particular bill is now passed and the NICFS, which was acting like a handicap, okay, need not be operating handicap anymore. Okay, and NICFS can function as one of the college under NFSU, or it might also be termed as a campus of Delhi under NFSU. There are possibilities, and this information is as per the inputs received by various dignitaries who are in the forensic practice, who are a part of various forensic decisions. So based on their input and suggestions is what I'm trying to get this thing cleared. But look, NICFS might be converted as one of the campus of the National Forensic Science University.
Yeah, sir. So on this very note, so I would like to ask you one question. Sir, do you think converting NICFS as a campus of NFSU will be challenging?
See, it's not challenging anymore because all the forensic related aspects, all the forensic related decisions are now to be taken by National Forensic Science University.
Yeah.
Okay. So with this recent, okay, they have got much more powers, okay, to do anything for the purpose of forensics, which might dominate and overlap the provisions of NICFS, which we have it right now, and this is highly likely. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen like this. This is highly likely.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Fine.
Okay.
Out of all this, what is it in for any student? What is that a student can expect?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Fine. The forensic science students, okay, first of all, they can expect the presence of National Forensic Science. Oh my God.
You're fine, sir. It's cool now.
The topic is hot.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to
Anyways,
give you such pain, but thank you again.
anyways. So the students can expect
Yeah.
the presence of this university campus across India. Okay, that is one thing which people can expect. And second thing,
Mm-hmm.
as an advantage, what they get is that the common syllabus offered across the campuses, the same syllabus to be completed. And third, to cover the syllabus, you would require the standard infrastructure facilities, which most of the students are complaining. Okay, in some universities and for offering courses on forensic sciences, they don't even have a stereoscopic microscope. Okay,
Yeah.
in such situation, the advantage of
Yeah.
students is like, you take up the syllabus, you take up the course in NFSU, and you can expect the required infrastructure for you to
Yeah.
cover your syllabus plus your research work. So all these things becomes very handy. Okay,
Yeah.
and the students can also expect a body for quality assurance in forensic practice. Okay, which is
Okay.
now, I said, National Forensic Science Standards. This is going to be
Yeah.
one university which is having an academic interest to bring in such regulations in forensic practice. Also includes the Forensic Council of India. This is one
Yeah.
important thing when we say Forensic Council of India. This is going to be
Yeah.
like statutory act for the purpose of forensic science practice in India, which can
Yeah.
be initiated or which can be proposed by the such university. When university like this will propose such bills, it makes a lot of difference, because when the
Yeah.
university forensic sciences and anything which the university propose will make a lot of academic and professional sense. So for this
Yes, sir.
reason, we can actually expect Forensic Council of India bill to be proposed by the university. And as students, okay, students might actually get national and international engagements as forensic experts or any kind of research capacities, JSO, SO, your research level, designations based on geopolitical agreement between the countries. Okay,
Yeah.
as different countries will have different kinds of agreement between every country. Okay, so in
Yeah.
this kind of situation, in between whichever country India has got an engagement with, so it becomes easy for such university to place the students in such countries for the purpose of academic or any kind of professional engagement. So it will be both professional and academic engagement, which can be designated by such university, and any person who would be associated from this university as a student or as a member by any of their initiatives can be the beneficiaries of this particular National Forensic Science University bill, which is now waiting for the signature
Yeah.
of the president
Yeah.
before it is going to be called as a act.
All right. So thank you so much, sir, for such a beautiful explanation. Sir, as we beautifully explained the objectives and its various aspects, I would like to ask you on that one thing. That do you think this bill lacks with respect to job opportunities and placements in this field, because it does not, it does not give any clear picture on this particular thing.
Not just this particular bill, no statutory provisions in any field for will promise you any kind of job. See, job in forensic science is a different question, okay, which can be answered when we have a standard syllabus to be studied by all the forensic science students with the same capacity of the infrastructure, okay, and the similar knowledge which every forensic science student is going to achieve. Then we can talk about the opportunities which is in general of all the forensic science students. Otherwise, okay, whatever we discussed regarding the jobs will make no sense, because if you discuss about student from one university, okay, knowing the complete syllabus and have done the practicals because there was infrastructure, and take up another university student who did not even have a stereoscopic microscope in the university, So if you talk about jobs in general, can this
Yeah.
person and this person be equal?
No.
So
Absolutely.
this university is a first step for a bigger evolution of forensic practice in India. So from this
Yeah.
university, this question of jobs would definitely be answered in future. Once you have common syllabus, once you have report infrastructure, okay, when people know that this person comes with this quality, then people can do the job. Otherwise, I'll tell you regarding, because you asked me the question about the job, many forensic science students don't even know operating MS Word, MS Office. They don't know how to send the mails. They send the mail without even the subject line in the mail. Okay, so these things doesn't show any kind of professionalism. Okay,
Yeah.
so the question about jobs is a complete different topic, but this
Very
university
different.
is a first step, okay, for
First step.
addressing that particular challenge in future.
So, sir, my before wrapping up this conversation, my last question to you is rather a request to you that what would be your suggestions for all those budding forensic science students who are yet to come in this professional field and start their career?
See, first of all, I would wish all the students all the very best for you to get into forensics as a full-time profession.
Yeah.
Forensic science is not a job-oriented course. You are not doing IIT course. You are not doing a diploma course where your job is going to be assured. Okay, and even for such courses, there is no assurance for the job. Okay, so forensics is a profession. It is not a job-oriented course. However, there is a need for regularizing the practice of forensic science, which is going to happen in future. But for all the forensic students, what I suggest you is that while you think you have got MSc Forensic Sciences, okay, as a certificate, if you also know that you lack the field experience, you lack the practicals, you don't know how to do the practicals. You have to spend some time, okay, in seeking some internship opportunities by engaging yourself in learning about the practical aspects of it. And don't complain saying that where do we do internships? You have so much of resources on Google and YouTube. Okay, you can know about these things. But when you are given an apparatus in hand, okay, you can also do that. If you don't spend the time, okay, in knowing, learning, and suddenly one day you're given the apparatus, then you come and say, I did not study this in my class. Okay, this is not going to be like that. So whatever chance you get, okay, I would expect people to engage yourself in learning and upgradation. And you have a number of issues like, we don't have good laboratories, good job opportunities, internship nahi milega, universities mein humko syllabus complete nahi karenge. Nobody cares about it. You have taken a professional course. Okay, you are expected to learn even if it is not taught. That is what his professional courses are. Okay, you can't complain. A doctor cannot come and complain saying that this syllabus I did not study in my class. The patient is before the doctor. He cannot say I did not study this particular syllabus in my class. He's expected, okay, to treat the particular. So like that, this is a professional course, and you are expected to deliver what it requires. When you call yourself as a forensic expert, first define in what area you want to be called as a forensic expert. Because just studying MSc Forensic Sciences doesn't really qualify you as a forensic expert in all the domains. That is a very wrong understanding. Before the court, if I'm the advocate who is questioning, I would definitely prove that you are not the competent expert, because that requires a different kind of training to be called as a forensic expert in a particular domain. So you cannot be an expert in all the domains just because you study in forensic sciences. So to this, you take up some additional certifications, spend time in a particular domain. That is what gives you expertise and exposure. Otherwise, just by blaming the present education system and the present situation, it is not in any way going to help you for you being a professional in the field of forensic sciences.
Exactly, sir. I completely agree on that point, but because blaming is not the solution at any case or under any circumstances. Sir, as you said that doing some certifications on a particular domain, like what all certifications are actually, given weightage. Like we know that there are certain institutions which are not registered or who do not have, expert in actual sense to actually provide that course. So how will we, differentiate like which one to from which one to do and from which one not?
Okay, Amlan, it's a very good question actually. Indeed, just to add on to your question, to answer this question effectively, Clue for Evidence
Mm-hmm.
Foundation is now doing a survey, okay, as
Okay.
to what attracts a student to take up a particular forensic science course.
Yeah.
What attracts a student to get through a forensic course? Okay, in fact,
Mm-hmm.
there is one research also going on with Rani Chennamma University. Okay, they are doing a
Mm-hmm.
full-time PhD thesis on this particular issue. Okay,
Yeah.
so in fact, a couple of days before, I just had a interaction with them for different reason. So, however, the issue, okay, what we're trying to address, okay, is a very bigger in nature, and I'm going to come
Mm-hmm.
back with the statistics and the reasons
Mm-hmm.
as to why
Mm-hmm.
students are choosing just random forensic science courses, and how do you
Yeah.
identify a genuine source of offering you
Yeah.
forensic courses? How do you know that if this certificate taken from so-and-so
Mm-hmm.
university, so-and-so institution, private institution, is going to be
Mm-hmm.
valid or not? Okay, how do
Exactly.
you know
Yeah.
the person offering the course is a qualified person or not? See, all
Mm-hmm.
these things, okay, I'm going to come back with the proper statistics. Okay, we
Okay.
are presently doing a survey. So with the good,
Yeah.
input, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
offer a complete different perspective, okay, of the issue what we're discussing right now.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sir, when are you actually coming on this topic live? Like, if you give an idea about the time and date.
Very soon, it should happen coming Sunday. Okay, today is
Sure.
Monday, so it should happen coming Sunday. In fact, we are in the process of compiling the survey data. So very soon,
Yeah.
we'll sharing our experience regarding this issue, how to identify
Mm-hmm.
a genuine institution, how to identify
Mm-hmm.
a genuine expert, how to identify a credible course. We're going to answer
Mm-hmm.
this thing in a separate session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. It was lovely talking to you, and it was actually a pleasure for me to meet you one on one, have a conversation, and it was really enchanting to have you, sir. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure, Amlan. In fact, I wish you all the best because of you, a lot of forensic students are getting benefit out of this kind of lectures. Okay, I believe this is a 7th series, and I believe all the previous series
Yeah.
just add equal value for the forensic science challenges what we are facing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.